I just went down the rabbit hole of how much money Shemar Stewart made in college. So starting off right away, I Googled it, and this is what I got. Shemar Stewart, the 17th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, did not receive any NIL money from the Cincinnati Bengals. Instead, his contract dispute over the language in his blah, 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 blah. Shout out to Google, because that doesn't tell me anything. Obviously, he's not going to receive any money from the Bengals. NIL money comes from, well, let's just read exactly what it comes from. So if you're confused about NIL money, it stands for name, image, and likeness. It refers to a person's legal rights to control how much their image is used, including commercially. In college, student athletes have long been prohibited from making profit from their fame. So they forfeited their NIL rights by signing with a college sports team. 3 years ago, a combination of NCAA rules, change, and state laws restored rights to college athletes, and they've been making sponsorships deals ever since. Okay, so that's what it is. That's the long and short of what NIL is. So first off, we got a little snippet. During his time at Texas A&M, he did a couple different sponsors posts on Instagram. So he has an Instagram following of 45,800 people. And he actually did a sponsor for a coffee company where he was posting different things sponsoring a coffee company. He got paid $1,000 per post on Instagram. So roughly speaking, around $5,000-$6,000 off coffee company money. That seems like a little bit of money. Now let's talk about the good money. It's not exact, like, it's hard to find every information. The expected money that he made over 4 years was $1 million annually per year. Now, there's other reports, and I'm going to go through all these reports here, that he made. So it says right here, this is obviously Google again, Google overview, whatever. But, yeah, so he made $1 million annually per year, which I don't know if I agree with that. But then if you go even deeper down the rabbit hole, he has a 1-3 NIL validation of $34,000. That's not exactly how much he made. That just means how much he's valued with the NIL money. Now, he got that coming out of high school. So coming out of high school, he already had a $34,000 evaluation. Now, the Aggies, they have like a little bit of I don't say a fund, but let me see if I can. So it says right here. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before. The Aggies has an NIL deals totaling $19.4 million. In the most recent year, Stewart likely received being a major part of that figure, although it's not clear how much he received. So, $19.4 million, like in a gigantic pot, and based on what we understand, he received a lot of that money. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it, which again would be more than $1 million per year, right? So, again, we don't know exactly the amount. But let me go through all these real fast. All right, so where am I at right now? I think I am here. So this is what I talked about before. Texas A&M athletes have earned more than $4 million in NIL compensation during their first academic year of the program, with the football players accounting for more than $3.3 million of that total. While individuals' earnings differ, Stewart prominence as a high-profile indicates he received a significant amount of those funds. So he received a significant amount of $3.3 million per year, for his first year, and it only got better each year. So, based on what I'm seeing and based on what I've gone through, I'm going to assume he's made $10 million at least in all this. Again, low end, the very lowest end, is above $4 million. That's the lowest end. The highest end that he's possibly made, up to $15 million. Possibly, around $15 million. So his money right now is between $4 million and $15 million. That's kind of where he's at with how much money he has made. Again, he only did one sponsorship post on Instagram. I know it's not much money, but he did make $5,000 off of it. Other than that sponsorship post, he hasn't posted anything else sponsorship on Instagram, so that really doesn't matter much. And also, by the way, this is what it says right here, according to Google, obviously. Again, Google overview or Google AI overview is stupid, but 100 to 500 per sponsor post. He made about 1,000 per post, so he made like 5 posts, $5,000. Obviously, listen, at the end of the day, you do have to pay taxes on some of this money, or on all this money. So that's also a factor too. You're gonna lose a bunch of it to taxes. But again, across the board, he's made a good chunk of change. I didn't realize how much he made. I really didn't. I thought, obviously pro athletes are making a lot of money, but if you look at his college success and look at his numbers in college, he wasn't like he was putting up record-setting numbers. We're not talking about, Mike Green from Marshall here. We're talking about a guy who put up 4.5 sacks over 3 years. Still a great player, but he's not putting up record-setting numbers that, like he's not the top 5 player in the country. Still a great player, but not top 5 in the country. Again, listen, at the end of the day, we'll see, how the situation plays out, but, man, this is still annoying. Okay, I'm just going to say it right now. It's still very, very annoying. And I do want to look up real fast, top or NCAA football NIL deals. Because right now I know the top of the list is going to be like Archie Manning. Archie Manning is absolutely insane right now. So Archie Manning has a $6.8 million NIL deal. $4.3 million. So you got to think about it. He's going to make probably over 4 years. But again, look at this. So this is another factor here we got to keep in mind. Actually, I deleted the thing. But right now, Shemar Stewart has 45,000 followers on Instagram, right? Archie Manning has 430,000. 129,000. 534,000. Going down this list, even number 5 still has, over 11,000 more followers, which I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, and if you're older and you're not, young Thundercat anymore, you might be like, who cares about followers? That means everything. How much followers you have is how important you are. So, and that really is what it comes down to. These brands, when they partner with you and they give you this money, they give you this crazy money, they want you to make them money back. And how you make them money back is by having these followers and being able to promote that brand, and then they make money back. So, for example, the coffee company that sponsored him, when they pay him $5,000, they're expecting a return on their investment. They're not expecting to make $5,000, spend $5,000 and make nothing back. They're expecting good money back. So, at the end of the day, is it worth it for him not to sign his contract, not to go through this? That's something that I guess only he can, go ahead and explain. Because let's say he did make around $4 million per total in college. Again, a big chunk of that goes to taxes. A big chunk of that might go to a house he buys, a car he buys, right? A good chunk of that might go to family members he gives it to. So while yes, in theory, I guess in our brains, right? You might think, okay, $4 million, that goes right to the bank. No, it doesn't. It goes through all those different filters. If he has to pay child support, I'm not saying he does, but if he did, that's going to go up in price. His child support's going to go up if he's making $4 million a year or $4 million total. It all goes together, right? So just because we see a chunk, and there's a lot of NFL players like who retired now, they come out and they say this all the time. People see a number and they think that's how much they get paid. No, it's not. Because what happens is Uncle Sam takes his chunk. Family takes their chunk. You know, your house you bought takes a chunk. The car you bought takes a chunk. Food. You have to pay for food. You have to pay for electric. You have to pay for all these bills. And, you know, and some of these players, they also like to gamble. They also like to spend some money on, you know, some very working women. They like to spend money on women that like to, you know, better society with their presence. Right? So that's all things that they spend money on. And a lot of them waste money. They do. So just keep that in mind. These are kids. You know, these guys are college kids who, you know, are going to waste money, and they see $4 million and they might blow that all in a year. So just keep that in mind. He might not have any money left, you know. Again, we look at these numbers, but we got to remember that he's not making that anymore, you know. But again, like you look at his Instagram. I don't think he has a Twitter. I don't believe it. I couldn't find a Twitter. He's not putting up crazy numbers on these social platforms, which again is a huge factor in the NIL. Because that's the whole point. Your likeness is what you're selling, but if you don't have that much of a presence online, you're going to have a problem. Again, tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.